Football Show with Burger King. Watch live at 5 p.m. weekdays on YouTube. Join the conversation on 0808 17 17 700. Talking Scottish football first.
Good evening. Celtic win in Germany for the first time but go out of European competition. And Luke McCown, the scorer against Stuttgart, believes no one in Scotland can stop Celtic if they can hit top form. Danny Rohl's media conference this afternoon comments spark feisty response from Martin O'Neill. Danny responded to Luke McCown's claims that peak Celtic are brilliant, and Martin O'Neill had something to say about it as well. Also, Danny Rohl talking about the Celtic goalkeeping position. I love it. The mind games have started. We've not seen it like this, Barry, since what you were in the dugout last year. Is it all just noise at the moment? It's going to be some weekend though, isn't it?
Yeah, listen, it's a game I'm thoroughly looking forward to. Well, a week I'm looking forward to. Obviously, we've got the two games, but the first one is in the league on Sunday. Rangers have got very good form at home. Celtic had a real good result last night against Stuttgart, and obviously we've heard the pressers, a bit of mind games going on, so typical Old Firm weekend.
Darren O'Dea, you've also been in many of them. I don't think many people expected Celtic to do so well and to win last night.
No, I don't even think Celtic fans or possibly the players. I think it was could they get out of there unscathed and with any sort of confidence leading into Sunday. But it ended up being a really, really good night. To win away from home in Europe at any time is very difficult. So yeah, it just sets the game up perfectly now on Sunday. You've got two teams that will go in with full of confidence, and it's very hard to find who's going to win the game. There's just a multitude of things going to happen. Normally you have a gut feel. It's on a knife edge at the minute.
It sure is. Barry, Celtic last night surprised you as well, I would imagine. And 8 changes, but it worked.
Yeah, and listen, that's given Martin O'Neill, I would guess, food for thought for the game coming up on Sunday. I didn't expect it, if I'm being honest with you, because I was very impressed by Stuttgart. I know Celtic gifted them a couple of goals at Celtic Park, but I thought Stuttgart would have won pretty comfortably last night. But credit to Celtic, they got off to a perfect start after 30 seconds with a good finish by Luke McCown. And listen, they had to suffer a wee bit during the game, but that's what you have to do when you play in Europe. So yeah, it was a surprising result, but it was a good result for Celtic.
We haven't even mentioned the league leaders, and now the favourites with the bookies to win, Hearts, because they 10 games to go and they can almost taste the champagne or whatever their tipple is for the run-in, because they're looking so good.
Yeah, they are.
But there's a but coming.
Yeah, no, there is a but, because I said it. I've said it before, and I don't apologise in saying it. I've never seen it before, so until Hearts actually win the league, I just won't believe it till I see it. Now, are they in the strongest position? Yes, but there's going to be a lot of pressure in the next whatever amount of weeks till the end of the season, and none of them players have ever lived through it, and none of them in the club have lived through it like a Rangers or Celtic have. So they've done incredibly well to this point. Now we'll find out, can they live where champions have to live, and that's winning games when you've got the most amount of pressure on you.
Living in your head where champions live, Barry, you both know about it.
Yeah, but this is the business end of the season, Paul. Hearts have got 10 games to go alongside Rangers. Motherwell and Celtic have got 11 games to go. This is when it really matters, and this is where we'll be able to tell if Hearts can handle the pressure. Up until now, they've been excellent. There's no doubt about it. They're sitting top of the league for a reason. But now this is where it really, really matters, and we'll see how they go over the coming weeks.
Let's hear from the two managers then. Danny Rohl was speaking. No, let's hear Martin O'Neill last night after the Celtic result. We hear Luke McCown as well. It's all kicking off. And if you want to give us a comment, 0808 17 17 700. Martin O'Neill spoke about the changes that he made.
I thought he played brilliantly in the game. He played really well, Vil. And I think that's the name that we know him around the dressing room, but he did really well. A young lad who's got plenty of talent, and that was nice. And today we made some changes in the side. Some, as I said to you before, the game enforced, and players I want them to step up to the plate, really, at the end of it all. But these aren't players. We didn't throw into 16-year-olds or anything into the side. These boys have played in the team, and they've known what it is to actually win. And they've actually won some matches during our time here.
What's that going to do for Sinisalo and his confidence? And do you think he'll play? First of all, the confidence.
I think the confidence, yeah. Absolutely. I think if he was to play on Sunday, he had to play last night because for a goalkeeper especially, it's very hard to go in cold. So yeah, if he's going to play on Sunday, that was the perfect kind of audition and lead into it, getting 90 minutes and a clean sheet away from home in Europe against a decent side. I know what Celtic fans want. I just don't know what Martin O'Neill is thinking. Kasper Schmeichel just got this wealth of experience. Does that count for anything in these games? I think it does. But if you're looking at Kasper's form, I understand why the question's been asked. By the only person that can answer it is Martin O'Neill. I think if you were fair is fair and just picking, I think it was early in the season, you'd probably see Sinisalo. Because it's coming down to crunch time, I just don't know. I wouldn't say he won't start, but I can't make my mind up what Martin will do.
But Martin O'Neill only has, maybe 12 games left. 11 in the league, 1 in the cup, if they go out. And my point is, Barry, he must be tempted to say, Schmeichel's been amazing for Celtic. And, it was unfair, I think, the booing of him. But he just doesn't look as mobile as he was. And playing at Ibrox on Sunday, you'll need the keeper to be as agile up against the tall, strong Rangers, somebody really on their toes.
Yeah, and it's a big decision that he'll have to make. It's such an important position, the goalkeeper. I know Kasper Schmeichel's come under a fair bit of criticism. And if you look at some of the goals he's lost, you would expect a keeper of that quality to make the saves. Sinisalo, I thought, played pretty well last night. So Martin O'Neill's got a big decision to make. But he's experienced enough. He understands that. That's why you're involved in football. You have to make big decisions at times, and I'm sure Martin O'Neill will make that come Sunday.
See, you've been a manager, right? And this is one of the things that's in my head, but you can answer from a manager's perspective. If you drop Kasper Schmeichel, you're obviously giving him the disappointment of not being in, but the ramifications are he might lose his international slot as well for his last, and you're essentially retiring him.
Yep.
Because I can't imagine Kasper going next year. Would that play in your head as a manager, or do you just have to think what's best for the club at the time?
You have to think what's best, what's right in front of you at this moment in time. I know you're saying about his international career, but you need to think, what's my best team getting in for Sunday?
Yeah, fair
and
enough.
That's a decision you've got to make.
Great question, wasn't it, from Darren?
It was. I mean, I had the same
question.
sort of situation last year.
Jack Butland.
And it was tough, but I had to make it. Not because I don't think Jack Butland's a top goalkeeper. I just felt I had to take him out the firing line. Liam Kelly came in for a number of games and done really well. But my intention was always to put him back in. And I certainly done that towards the end of the season. He played the final 2 games. And look at the season he's had this year.
Yeah.
Mark's on a Celtic fan saying, go with Sinisalo. He did enough last night, and it's no harm to Kasper Schmeichel. What about Danny Rohl then? Let's get the ping pong going, or the tennis match that's been going on between the two managers today. Danny Rohl here speaking this afternoon.
It's a crucial game, but no team will be out after this game because still 27 points what you can take, and in football it's massive. It's 2 match days and you are in the title race again. I think this is also important, but of course we know for all the teams now, every match day is important, not just for us, also for the other 3 teams around us. Everyone fight for points, and you have to take points as soon as possible to be really close in this race.
And he spoke about expecting changes at Celtic.
Yeah, I think so. I think when you see the lineup from yesterday, the starting lineup, then I expect some changes. That's normal. They try to use the full squad. I was a little bit surprised after 1-0 that they're not trying to win this game 2-3-0 to have a chance. They keep the result until the end. I think that is a little bit apart. But yeah, will be interesting as well in the goalkeeper position, what he's doing now. Let's see. But we are prepared. I think it's focused on ourselves. We have also some interesting decisions to do. I notice if everyone is available, it's also for me on some positions not so easy because there are more than 2 or 3 players are ready for this game. It's a good situation. I like this. My player showed that they are ready. I think this is crucial, and let's see what it means on Sunday.
Barry, what do you make of those comments? First of all, he thought Celtic would go to try and win the overall tie.
You're just throwing a wee grenade in there, aren't you, and trying to make it explode a wee bit. But listen, he's got his opinion. Surprised that was I surprised that the Kasper Schmeichel didn't start last night? No, I wasn't, because he obviously his form over the last number of weeks. I think he's just giving his honest opinion, Paul. When you're asked the questions, I've been in the position before, and sometimes I think you're better just answering it honestly, and that's what he's done.
Would you have answered it that way? Would you have mentioned Celtic? I don't think you would have, would you?
I would have kind of went round about it in a different way, if I'm being honest with you. Because listen, at the end of the day, whatever happens at Celtic's not really my business. I've got to concentrate on your own team. So listen, everybody's got a different way of approaching it and answering things.
We saw you on Sky the other day because you were doing the media conference for Rangers ahead of the game. And look, Luke's got his job to do, as reporters do, to ask the difficult questions.
Every time I come up against Celtic, I think you have to respect your opponent. That's just the way that I was brought up, and I always done it. And I think if you don't go in and respect your opponent, then you're in for one almighty fall. And I was asked the question about Celtic. Yep, Celtic had a poor result against Hibs. They're still dangerous. I still think Celtic have got very good players. And what I do know is they've got a manager that knows his way in football. So listen, it's just part of the mind games and what goes on before.
Nobody's died.
Before an old firm. Yeah, I don't mind it. It's part and parcel of it.
What do you make of that part of it? We'll go hear Martin O'Neill in a moment.
I've absolutely no problem at all. Like Danny Rohl 100% knows what he's doing. The comment of not trying to win the game is the one that he's clearly trying to, in Barry's words, throw a little grenade in and let people kind of stew on it. But yeah, this is what it's all about. If you can get any sort of edge, you're going to do it now at this stage in the season. But no issues with it. It won't count for anything on Sunday once the balls or the first whistle's blown. So, but I love all this. This is what builds it up.
Exactly. And it's Stuttgart as well over there in Germany. It wasn't as if they were playing Bodo Glimt. But there's another story, isn't it? Bodo Glimt, amazing the other day. Right. So Martin O'Neill, they flew back today. They stayed last night, came back into the press conference. I don't know how much he knew about the comments of Danny Rohl, but let's take up. He was asked about it.
We did win the game, but you mean...
And that was the point about when Danny Rohl said, I thought they would have gone on to win the game. He meant the tie in aggregate.
We did win the game, but you mean...
Sorry, the tie.
Oh, the tie. That he thought we didn't try to win the tie. He wants to be involved in some of these games. Yeah, I never saw it like that. I mean, if we were driven back, because they are actually a very, very good team. They're in the top 4 in the Bundesliga. So... I'm surprised he would have made a comment like that. Well, Luke's entitled to his comments, believe it or not. You know, I think the games are hard. I think every game that I've been involved in since I've come back, I've found it difficult. But you know, what I think he probably meant is that we're a fine side when we're playing at our very best. So he's picking our team. Well done, old Danny. Well done. He's only in less than a year himself. Let's know all about it in the next 4 or 5 years. There's very little to comment upon it, really. I must sit down here and see if I can find out. Maybe he might have a choice of some players, and maybe I could put my oar in there, you know, and find out what he's doing. He's had a comment about our team, as in the picking of the team. Extraordinary, absolutely extraordinary. He hasn't been in Glasgow long.
That is unusual, isn't it? It is, yeah.
But then, if you hear at the start of that interview, Martin O'Neill's having a wee dig at Danny Rohl, saying he wants to be involved in some of these games. saying that Celtic get one step further than Rangers. But listen, I don't mind it. It's part of it, and it's part of the fun leading up to these massive occasions.
Luke McCown scored that early goal. What was it? 30 seconds last night. Phenomenal. And that was the result at the end. This was him speaking afterwards.
I think that's regardless if you're not playing all the time or if you are. You've got to have the hunger to go and help your team when things are going against us. Probably why Celtic as a team have been so amazing over the last few years is just the consistency level has been abnormally high, and now you're expecting that. So when we go into this season, we expect that ourselves and we expect it from ourselves, and we've just not done that so far. But listen, we're still in the fight and we just need to keep going, and with performances like that, it doesn't hinder us.
And he also said no one can live with Celtic when they hit top form. Danny Rohl was asked about that this afternoon.
Yeah, I think at the moment we're in the second position. They're behind us. I think they have at the moment 7 or 8 defeats. Yeah, I think general it makes no sense to speak too much about the other side. We have to focus on ourselves. We want to win this game. I see my team is ready to take points, and then we will see on Sunday. Hopefully both teams try everything, and I'm confident that we have a big chance to win this game.
And Martin O'Neill was then asked about Danny Rohl's comments, about Luke McCown's comments.
In my time, absolutely right. They definitely can. There's no need for him to be commenting on my team or our side. I think he possesses a very, very decent team over there, and it's going to be tough for us to try and get a result. But regardless, we're still fighting.
Hey, it just warms everybody up, as if anybody needs it, Darren, ahead of this game, noon, Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. It's a massive game in any season, but it's the way the season's gone for both clubs, and then you add Hearts, potentially Motherwell into the equation. It's unprecedented, so it's going to be, it's building. You can just feel it, and it's going to come to fever pitch on Sunday, and hopefully the build-up matches the actual game itself, and we get an absolute brilliant game.
What are you thinking ahead of the game? Give us a call, 0808 17 17 700. Any team news? What about Sterling and Nadiri? Maybe the two doubts for Rangers?
Both are in the training. If it's enough to be in the squad, I have to decide tomorrow. It looks better, but it's not today to say they're in or out. We need one more session to see how was the reaction after the training session yesterday, and then we can go forward.
Barry, what's the word on Dujon and Ryan? What do you reckon?
What do I reckon?
That they'll play? Do you think they will be fit? Are you saying he'll decide tomorrow?
Yeah, you just need to wait and see how they recover from the training session. That's as simple as that. Look, Dujon, if you keep him fit, and I've worked with him, he's an absolute machine. The only issue with Duj is he picks up a lot of niggles. And bearing in mind, he was out for a long time, 8 months. He was out with obviously the ruptured Achilles, which is a bad one. So you're going to always get little niggles when you're coming back for a long-term injury. But look, if he's fit and available, the manager's got to seriously think of playing him. But I only think in these games you need people who are as close to 100%, because it's a huge game. And what Rangers need to do is, Rangers, similar to what Celtic need to do, is both of them need to win the game. So you need people who you know can get through it.
I mean, a draw would be the result that Hearts must be praying for at the moment, Darren, you would imagine. Yeah,
from Hearts' perspective, they'd well, obviously they want to win first, and then a draw. But from Rangers and Celtic's point of view, a draw wouldn't be a catastrophe. But at the same point, both teams will be going in thinking a win can really be. It genuinely could be the pivotal game of the season, because I just feel if whichever team is to win, the psychological edge you'll get with it, not just 3 points, the psychological edge you might just actually kick you on, and it'll certainly build your support, kind of the belief inside your support. So it's an absolute monster game.
It's going to be a monster game. That's a good description, Barry, isn't it?
Yep. Yeah, and you hear there's a wee bit going on at the pressers today as well, and it's just part of the build-up. Look, I think come 12 o'clock on Sunday it's going to be a fiery occasion, there's no doubt, because I think Rangers will go for it and understand that Celtic will come, and they know that they listen, I agree with Dan, a draw wouldn't be the worst, but I think both teams know a win could kick them seriously on.
Going to take your calls next. 0808 17 17 700.
The Go Radio Football Show with Burger King.
It's the Old Firm weekend, the Glasgow derby. There's also some brilliant games tomorrow, not least at Fir Park. Motherwell against Dundee United. We've got Livy against St Mirren. My goodness, how St Mirren need points. Hearts, top of the table against Aberdeen. They could go further ahead before Rangers and Celtic play. Falkirk against Kilmarnock, and Dundee against Hibs. And then, of course, high noon on Sunday, Rangers against Celtic. Darren O'Dea on Saturday then. Where are you going to go?
I think I'll go watch Motherwell Dundee United. It's local to me, well, local enough, but Motherwell are a team I like watching. I think it'll be a good game, and we're talking all about Hearts, Rangers, Celtic, and kind of rightly so, but Motherwell are kind of built so much momentum, and kind of they're in such good confidence. They've just got this outside chance, so yeah, that's where I'll go tomorrow.
Barry, you'd be tempted. I know you're a Hamilton boy, but
yeah, but just in terms of Motherwell, I totally agree with Dan. They've been exceptional this season, and a lot of people are going on about Hearts, Rangers, and Celtic. But listen, Motherwell, I think will have a big say in this. There's no doubt in my mind about it. But look, they're a real good team to watch. The job that the new manager's done since he's come in has been nothing short of fantastic. But yeah, I'll go to a game. Kyle's suspended tomorrow, so he's up the road. So I'll go a lower league. I quite like going to lower league games.
Done that before. Yeah.
I don't mind it. So we'll pick one tomorrow and we'll head along and have a wee look.
And on Motherwell, one of the headlines today, we talked about it last night briefly. Jens Bertolascu has been mentioned as a future Celtic manager. That was one of the headlines this morning. You could see it happen, couldn't you? I don't know what whether or not, but there is interest in him. Whether or not he would want to come and stay in Scotland or move down south?
Yeah, we no idea. I know why the questions are asked all the time, but I always think it's an impossible answer for a manager in a job to give any sort of inclination. But I think just naturally, because of the size of clubs that will be interested, I think there's probably an acceptance from Motherwell's side that he will be moving on at the end of the season, but he will have a multitude of offers, and Celtic will have to get into a queue, I think.
Barry, exactly. There'll be no shortage of suitors.
Yeah, but look, he has been mentioned with Celtic, but I think there'll be so many clubs looking at the job that he's done in this short period of time, and the brand of football that he's playing as well. There'll be plenty of suitors out there. But again, it's a hard question. I mean, I watched that yesterday when he's getting asked that. It's difficult, but I thought that he answered it in the right manner. He was respectful in terms of he's got a job to do at Motherwell and he's fully focused on doing that.
When's your column in the paper? Is it tomorrow?
No, it was earlier.
Just the other,
Earlier.
after the press conference, because I got your paper, the record this morning, and that's one of the other things on the back page. Obviously, Celtic's win last night, and also the story that broke here last night, this time just after 5 o'clock, Lord Willie Hawkey revealing, they call it a stunning plan to purchase £10 million worth of Celtic shares if Celtic fans, they're going to be known as the Season Ticket Alliance Trust, come together. It's a trust. He doesn't want anything from it, but he would put in that money to bring them together to try and build a bridge with the club. He's spoken with the board about it, I think, to the chairman, interim chairman, and also the chief exec, to try, I think, to build some kind of bridge, because I think the tennis ball incident probably just put the tin lid on it, didn't it, again, before the Stuttgart game. Yeah. So what did you make of it?
Well, I said to you before, and I still maintain it might be too late for this season, but I think that if Celtic had a Celtic Park rocking at the minute, it could be the difference, because we know what the supporters bring, both at Celtic and Rangers, and how much it can kind of lift you a little bit. And Celtic Park is, from an atmosphere point of view, is nowhere near where it has been for the last, decades. So it does need someone. It feels like it needs someone to mitigate something. So obviously, I mean, there's not many people that could financially do what Willie can do, but fair play to him. He's coming up with a solution. So anyone that's looking to find solutions, I would welcome.
Here's what he said last night on the show.
I believe that the 54,000 season ticket holders are the core. They're a heartbeat of Celtic. And I'm going to set up a thing called the Season Ticket Alliance. And I want the 54,000 people, whether you're in corporate or whether you're in the director's box or wherever you are, I'm going to set up an office, a small secretariat. I will pay for it. I'm not looking for money off of anybody. And what I want to do is I want the 54,000 individuals. All we need is there'll be more details in the next few weeks, but all we need is either your email address or your mobile phone number, and then that you'll get a number. You'll be part of that Season Ticket Alliance. And what we'd like to do then is if thousands and thousands of people join this, then obviously these thousands and thousands of people between them have got some shares. Look at what sort of shares. I'm trying to get to get a system where the people can get a voice, but where we can talk to the club, sensibly, try and get things done. And what I'm offering is that this will be completely separate. I will have nothing to do with it. But for every 10,000 fans that join us, I will put £2 million in to buy shares for this trust. So if we take all the shares of the people who would join through the trust, and then if we add that to it, if everyone joins, there's 10 million, and they will be gifted to the trust. They'll not be owned by me. It's going to be separate for the trust. But I think that we have to get something that all the fans can get behind. Let's get harmony, let's get the Green Brigade back in the stadium. Let's get everybody singing for the same hymn sheet. And what we're hoping to do as the long-term play is to get enough people behind us here that we can go to the club and say, right, listen, look, this should be the vehicle for how the fans can get their viewpoint over to the club. And maybe we may end up with getting enough shares where we've got a voice, and maybe even potentially in years to come, get someone from the fan base onto the board.
On the line now, a Celtic fan, Malky. Hi, Malky. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. You all. How are you doing?
Yeah, good. Darren O'Dea's in great form. Barry Ferguson too. What did you make of that last night? The offer from Willie Hockey to try to get some kind of resolution to bring the club together, and he'll put in up to £10 million.
Yeah, I get both sides of it. There's two similar kind of scenes in the background trying to do exactly the same thing, but I get the point. I think it's a fantastic thing to just get everybody out. £10 million, candy, and that's absolutely fantastic. Just to try to pull everybody together and go in one direction. Yes, very good.
And what else? I think you were on about the spat between the two managers today.
Well, there's no spat between two managers. There's a spat between one manager, and it's I think Danny Rohl's very disrespectful. I came Darren and Barry said, "Oh, it's just a bit," but it's very disrespectful. This is a guy that's won absolutely nothing, done absolutely nothing in football. The only thing he's won is the Danny Rohl Cup since starting the league since September. I'm the top of the league and we've got a trophy in the cabinet. He's done nothing, and he's speaking to Martin Neal, a legend, and trying to pick points because it's the Glasgow Derby week. It's like there's a script being put in front of him and he's got boxes to tick. And I just think it's low. It's very, very... To be quite honest, if Celtic... It's going to be a tough game. If Celtic go to win this, it's going to be embarrassing for him. That's for I would think.
Scripted, you feel? Darren, what do you think is...
I don't agree with it's disrespectful, Malky. I think disrespectful is the wrong word. He could look very silly, and he puts himself in a position of looking very silly if things don't go right for him on Sunday and for the rest of the season. But that's the whole point to it. He's putting his neck on the line. He's trying to cause a little bit of friction. I've no issue with that. But I don't think he's been disrespectful. I don't think he said anything that's disrespectful. Could it be a comment that comes back to bite him? It may well do, but I think there's nothing in it really.
Is it not a bit disrespectful to say that they could have gone ahead to try to win the tie?
Sorry,
overall?
the comment they're trying to win the tie. Yeah, that was the one that you could maybe have a slight issue. Yeah, you could have a slight issue with.
And also what's disrespectful, Darren, is he stated that Luke McCowan said something about the Rangers. He never said nothing about the Rangers. Luke McCowan said, "When we are on our game, we're the best team in Scotland." He never said nothing about the other side.
He said no one
nothing.
can
That's
touch us.
disrespectful.
No one can touch
Right,
us.
so, well, that's fine. Well, you tell me, if Celtic's on their game, can MD touch them? The last 25 years tells you otherwise.
Yeah, no. I think that has to be the mentality. It's just
So
whether you
that's
say that.
disrespectful also. But what he said, 2 points, disrespect. For somebody that's did absolutely nothing but won the league title since he came in. Very, very disrespectful. Sorry.
He's only been here since October and he has turned things around so far. But I take your point,
Yes.
Malky. Yeah, I mean, but Barry, what would you say?
Things round,
Sure.
but you didn't get trophies in a cabinet.
Aye.
You didn't get trophies in a cabinet for turning things round. We've been here before. Clermont was there. They were celebrating a 3-3 draw and thinking they won the league.
Yeah, moral victory, he called that one, which was a mistake
Correct.
for him. You know, when.
Yes. So
Right,
is this...
sure. Right, Barry, was
It's
it?
all about opinions. Listen, he's made the comments. I have no issue with it. If that was coming for a Celtic side, I wouldn't have a problem with it. I really wouldn't.
But the thing is, Barry, it doesn't come for a Celtic side. It only comes from one side.
Yeah, what, today? Never?
No, all the time. All the time.
What's
It
all the
only
time?
comes
Tell
from-
me what's
that
all
kind
the
of
time,
comment only
Malky.
comes from one side.
Tell me when's
Pardon?
all the time. When?
But Clermont, the moral victory, that's got to be one of the worst comments I've ever heard in football. A 3-3 draw at home, a moral victory. These comments come all the time, but only comes from one side.
But Malky, why does it stress you out? Because
I'm not stressed out. I
Philip
just think
Clement
it's very
is the one that
disrespectful.
looks. It's not disrespectful for a manager to come out and have mind games. Sir Alex Ferguson would be disrespectful to pretty much every other manager that he ever competed with. This is what happens when it comes down to
Yes.
it. I agree the
Darren, I
comment
get that.
on trying to not win the game. You could argue that's
Somebody that finished
disrespectful.
32nd in the league that Celtic qualified for with 4 points and a -9 goal difference. Turning around to say, "Oh, I thought they would have won, try to go and win that game." Oh my goodness, it's embarrassing, really.
Yeah, for Danny Rowe, I don't understand why you're so het up with it.
I think
I'm not hit up with you, Darren. I'm just stating.
No, sure.
It's
And
embarrassing.
see the Philip Clement one. A lot of Rangers fans thought, "What? A moral victory? It's not a moral victory if you just get a draw with Celtic." You know, in the derby, it was at Ibrox, wasn't it, the Old Firm game? So I think a lot of Rangers fans went, "Philippe, come on, that's just not." I heard Wilfred Nancy saying at the January game when he was still in charge at Celtic that when he was asked, he said, "Oh, we'll compete." Now I know he's French, so the language barrier, but I remember him saying, "Well, I think we'll compete." What, Celtic against Rangers? So sometimes they get it wrong, the managers. I can't imagine what the pressure's like. But Malky's saying it's kind of choreographed. Do you think it is, maybe?
No, it's not scripted at all. No. Listen, you get briefed in what may get asked, but then it's up to you to answer it in what way you think's the best way. You don't get told how to answer it.
Do you think some PR guru said, lob one in about the keeper? Test the keeper? No?
No, but a wee bit of mind. Listen, we says at the start of the show, it's a bit of mind games. I don't mind it. Listen, Malky's got an issue with it. That's up to Malky to have an issue with it. That's fine by me. But I don't have an issue with what Danny Rohl said.
Sorry, Barry, I've not got an issue. I've just...
Well, you clearly have, Malky, because you're coming on here and saying about it.
Aye, well, what was listening for the show's about? You want my opinion?
Of course.
So it's not an issue. It's just my opinion.
Yeah, listen, I'm fine. Yeah. Everybody's entitled to their opinion.
You know what I mean? I've not got an issue. I'm just putting my opinion across.
That's fine.
And of course, reporters are going to sit and see the Luke McCowan. Reporters should be saying, "What do you make of the comments of a Celtic player?" So I get that as well. That's not choreographed. That's just the reporters see it. Then they ask the question. Here's the question, Malky. What do you think is going to happen Sunday? Because we can't wait for it. What do you reckon after last night?
It's going to be a tough game. I think it's going to end up either. There's 4 score lines. It's 1-0, 1-0, either way, a draw, and maybe a sneaky 1-0 for somebody. It's got to be tight. It's got to be very, very tight. I think it's... I'll take the draw just now and walk away.
Darren, would you take the draw?
No, I don't think. I understand, sorry, Malky, why you would and the mentality of what you're thinking, but no, I think as a Celtic player, they certainly won't be thinking that way. You think you need to go into the game just with the amount of points you're behind Parts as well. I think you need to go and win the game.
Barry, what
No,
would you
I'm
feel?
100% behind Darren, but worst case scenario, I would take it from.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the worst result. I agree.
I think
No,
both.
no, exactly.
I think both managers and both teams will go for the win.
Yeah.
I don't think it's
absolutely.
going to be a case of Celtic coming and sitting back. I think Rangers at home, they'll go and attack Celtic, but I also think on the flip side of that, Celtic will do the same. I think it's going to be end to end.
Yeah,
Seriously.
it makes for a brilliant game because both teams will go for it.
Malky, thanks for calling. That's what it's all about.
No, thank you very much,
Cheers,
gents,
Malky.
and have a
Malky.
good weekend and enjoy the game.
Likewise.
Thanks, Malky. You too.
Cheers,
0808
boys.
17 cheers, 17 700. There was enough to look forward to today, Barry, without. It's great stuff, isn't it? You know, and people do look at it and think, oh, has that been my.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Malky's totally entitled to the way he thinks. I have no issue with that.
Still a democracy we live in. Only just, but I believe it is. 0808 17 17 700.
The Go Radio Football Show with Burger King.
Yeah, could you hear Malky there, a first time caller, making the switch. 0808 17 17 700. More and more people tuning in. And a great reaction last night. Barry, I didn't get a chance to say to you, you heard some of it, you've read about it. Willie Hockey saying, so there's £10 million here. I don't want to control it. I'm not going to benefit from it at all. To try and get some peace at Celtic and get maybe some shares in time for the fans and maybe in time a voice on the board and bring back the Green Brigade, trying to get things back united.
Yeah, well, obviously, he cares about the club.
Yep.
And he understands, well, it's easy for everybody to see. It's fractured just now, the support and the board. And I'm always a big believer, Paul, when you have the fans on your side, you're halfway to being a successful team. And certainly this season, the Celtic fans are just disillusioned. And they've run out of patience. And obviously, Willie's trying to come up with a solution to try and get that back. And I know how important supporters are. I was at the Rangers game 2 weeks ago against Hearts at Ibrox. And listen, Rangers deserve to beat Hearts, but I tell you, see the atmosphere, it was electrifying. And that drove the Rangers team on to win that game. I'm convinced it. I know Rangers were good. And I know when you're out in the pitch, you have to go and do your bit. When you've got the fans behind you and roaring you on, and even when they went a goal down and then they get the equaliser, then they go a second goal down, the fans were right behind them. And it's so important as a player. And that's been a clear issue at Celtic this season.
Because that wasn't the case some months ago.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
The energy was just sucked out the place, wasn't
See,
it?
if you're getting that energy for the stands, you can feel that on the pitch. And it's so important. I think if you ask any professional player, I know what it was like. I'm sure Dan will agree. When the fans are getting right behind you, there's no better feeling. It gives you that extra 10%.
Here's Danny Rohl speaking about the atmosphere at Ibrox.
Yeah, we are ready. I think during the week we spoke a lot about this game in the coaching group as well. I think when you are a manager and you have the chance to play at home, this kind of games, then you are also on fire. And yeah, we are on fire. I think it was a good training week so far. Let's see tomorrow, one more training session. I feel the confidence, I feel the belief, and I think this is very important. It's not just, we can speak about the shape and the tactic, but it's also about the how we go in duels, how we win the balls, how we play forward. If we have the right mindset for this game, then I totally believe we come with a lot of confidence, and we have 51,000 in our back, and it will be a good atmosphere.
Yeah, looking forward to the game. Barry, you're going to give us your Rangers team shortly. Darren as well,
Yep.
give us your Celtic team. Darren, the football without fans is nothing.
Yeah, and particularly in Glasgow.
Yeah.
Like don't know if it was a good thing or bad thing. I played in 3 different continents, so I've decent knowledge on the different countries and the different atmospheres. None compare to Glasgow. The kind of hostility when you're an enemy, if you like, and then also the adulation you can feel when your own support's behind you. And there is no doubt that, listen, there's been so many things kind of discussed this year in terms of Celtic that the fans want to get right. But ultimately, what could help right now is I do genuinely believe if Celtic Park had the same atmosphere as what Ibrox did against Hearts, I think I would really fancy Celtic more. But this thing of not having Celtic Park the way it has been for years and years, it just actually worries me, because not having that level of kind of ground, or that ground behind you, it's going to make it a lot more difficult. But I understand this is where they're at, and that's obviously why Willie's trying to step in.
Let's hear a bit from Martin O'Neill about, I think he was asked last night about the confidence back. Was it restored?
I don't think we've ever lost confidence. I seem to be debating this point, but we got beaten last Thursday in the game here at home. I never thought it was 4-1, although the fourth goal probably, in many aspects, maybe knocked it beyond us. It didn't seem that after we scored early, and then there's a last-ditch tackle on Maeda just about 4 or 5 minutes later. It could have been 2-0 at this stage, but it was a tough ask. It always was, and but we played really well in the game. And if you think that we maybe lost a bit of confidence from the Hibs game, which I don't think we did, then it's restored anyway after last night's performance.
Barry, how will Rangers line up, do you think, for the game on Sunday then?
You want me to give the
so.
starting
Yeah,
11?
a few people are on asking already,
Right.
including Big Billy.
I'm going to go a 4-3-1-2.
Okay.
So I'm going to go with Jack in goals. I don't think Dewes will be match fit, so I'm going to go Tav, Suter, Fernandez, Romans. I'm going to go a midfield three of Raskin, Chukwani and Diomande. Mikey Moore behind a front two of Chermiti and Nadiri.
Yeah. And you reckon Nadiri will be fit?
Yeah.
You'd think so, yeah.
Yeah. I think they've got to go
Yep.
for it. They know how important it is. I know there's going to be twists and turns, and there's still a lot of football. But I think Rangers be two up top, and Mikey Moore, that free role with three solid midfielders behind them.
Scov Olsen on the bench didn't quite make it for you. I heard you saying nobody's seen enough from him yet.
Yeah, look, there's no doubt he has great quality. It's just taking him a bit of time to get up to speed. And bearing in mind, he's not played a lot of football as well. And this is a difficult place. People need to understand. People think Scotland's easy to play in. Look, I know in terms of the standards, might not be like the Premier League down south or whatever, but it's a tough place to play football. So he's taking a wee bit of time. But I just believe that would be the team to go and really have a go at Celtic and get at them.
Do you get less time on the ball? I know you do in the Old Firm game, but when you say it's different from down south, do you get less time in Scotland? People are on you faster?
Yeah, it's certainly away from home. Look, you tend to dominate the ball more when you're at home, but away from home, listen, it's there's some real tough places to play. I've seen so many top players come in from big clubs and big leagues and really struggled to hit the ground running, because it's the teams that you play against are very committed, and I've seen not just from Rangers. You watch other players coming in from Celtic, and they find it tough. It's not as easy as people make out.
Darren?
Totally agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Listen, Barry's obviously done it and played down in England. I've played down in England and recently obviously coached down there. There is an absolute perception that it's a cakewalk up here, from a point of view of Celtic at the minute winning, Rangers previously have been winning, and it's a 2-horse race, which in fairness that part of it is true, but I don't think people appreciate. You see it particularly with Joe Hart comes up now. He's won the Premier League with Man City, and when he comes up, you don't know what it's about until you actually breathe it. You don't know what the pressure brings, and I actually think some of these Celtic players, even though they've been there for 2-3 years, they've never seen Celtic when you're not winning, and that's when the actual pressure is really, really ramped up. So, Scotland doesn't get the respect it deserves from down south, but it doesn't really matter. We know what the product is up here, and it's a very, very tough one to do well in.
What's your Celtic team then? So you've heard Barry's. We'll come back to that in a moment.
I'll start with the back four, right?
You're missing out the keeper.
By the way, I'm going with what I think Martin will do rather than what my team would be. So I think he will go for Tierney at left back. Sriracha will be hard done by. Scales left centre back. I think he's got to go with Dane Murray now, just because of the performance of last night. Arthur Benjamin has no kind of history. Rohl right back. Callum McGregor 6. Nygren and Ox Oxlade-Chamberlain as the two kind of eights, and then I think he'll go with Dyson Maeda. I know he hasn't been in form. I think he'll go off the left. He's just had so many performances. You'd just be hoping. Fanchara, Adamu, I'm unsure. Adamu did okay last night. I'll go Fanchara and Yang off the right. And then goalkeeper, which is the most talked about.
Drum roll.
I think Morton will pick Schmeichel.
Do you? Yep.
That's my gut, I think he'll get as much experience as he can on the pitch.
Barry, what do you make of that team? We'll talk about it more. But the Celtic lineup, what do you make of it?
I think that will be the Celtic starting lineup.
So.
And I agree with the goalkeeper as well.
Do you think he'll go with Schmeichel?
Yeah.
He'll not do a Barry Ferguson, change it?
I think he understands that you're going into a red-hot atmosphere. Kasper Schmeichel's dealt with atmospheres like that before. And that's the reason why I think he'll go with Schmeichel.
Sinisala did play once last season, didn't he?
He did.
Yep.
He did.
And he did okay. Yeah.
Yeah. No, there's no... The not putting Sinisalo in won't be an ability thing. It's just... Even if it was at Celtic Park, I would be more convinced you could do it. But I just think going away to Ibrox, I know I've done it, it is the hardest place to go and play football as a Celtic player.
You mentioned Mikey Moore, everyone's raving about him, and the manager Danny Rohl was asked today, are you going to extend the loan next season?
Yeah, at first I think he made a fantastic development since I'm here. He showed his quality. He's still a young player. He took a lot of good experience now in this year. To play for a big club is always important, helpful in a young career, good experience. He did so well. I'm happy with him, and of course, let's see what we can do. I think this is in the following weeks now a topic. I think this is the good thing that we are clear. We start next week then as well to speak about the summer, bring all these informations together, and I think important is not just what we feel. I think Mikey feels also really well here. You see the relationship between him and the fans. He likes the club, but there are a lot of different people around to make such a decision. I think let's see what we can do in the future. Now it's focused to the race, and then we will hopefully make good decisions in the summer.
Barry, recruitment often criticised. What a find he's been.
Yeah, he's been excellent. Look, I've said it on a number of occasions. He came up a boy. Now he's a man to me. His development over the last 3 or 4 months has been excellent. I think Rangers has been really good for him as well, for his development, and I think it's got to be top of the list for the recruitment in the summer.
Do you think he will be here next season?
To go and ask Tottenham the question.
Yeah.
Is he, what's the point if he goes down there and sits on a bench, doesn't get into the match day squad? I think it'd be really good for him to spend another season. But look, that's going to be Tottenham's decision. At the end of the day, he's Tottenham's player. But I think it's certainly going to be top of the list in terms of recruitment, looking ahead to the summer.
Quick break for the news, and then we're back. 08 08 17 17 700.
Football Show with Burger King. Watch live at 5 p.m. weekdays on YouTube. Join the conversation on 0808 17 17 700. Talking Scottish football first.
We are indeed, and in the next 20 minutes or so, somebody could be winning £1,000. They won't know until Monday. All you need to do is give us 6 verdicts on the games tomorrow and Sunday, and if you get them right, then he or she will be winning £1,000. Nobody's done it yet, Barry, have they? They got close again last weekend, but I think he was 2 out, so getting closer. And it's going to be, I think Jackie is coming on in about 20 minutes or so. We're doing that with Sheffield Timber. Darren, quite a few Celtic fans coming on saying they want to see Sinisalo.
Yeah.
And actually nobody having a go at Schmeichel. Schmeichel's been amazing. Ryan was on saying he takes your point about Denmark, but that's not Celtic's concern, as you know as well.
Sure. I absolutely agree. It shouldn't be Celtic's concern, but also that's why I asked the question to Barry, because when you are a manager, you will have relationships with players. You'll want to look after them. It must be hard to kind of know that the decision you're going to make will affect his actual international career. But the reality is, which Barry said, I totally get and agree with actually, that it's not really Martin O'Neill's problem. I understand why Celtic fans want Sinisalo in. I'm not arguing either side of it. I just have a gut feel that when it comes down to it, the experience might be what Martin O'Neill leans to.
Barry, 15 years ago today, saw it in the papers this morning. You know where you were. You didn't realise when I told you.
Realise.
Wembley Stadium, Arsenal against Birmingham, and you won the League Cup.
Yeah, 15 years ago. Oh, time flies.
You were the underdogs big time, weren't you?
Yeah, listen, I remember the build-up to that. We had, normally you get a lot of press. We had hardly any press. Everything was on Arsenal. And rightly so, they were under Arsene Wenger. They had unbelievable players. But listen, that suited us. We were very workmanlike. A lot of good experienced players. Really close-knit group as well. It was a brilliant group of players. And listen, with a game plan, I think if you look back in the stats, I think Arsenal had 77% possession or something. But listen, we had a way of playing, and listen, the tactics worked perfectly, and we got the goal in the last kick of the ball.
I remember.
It was a brilliant victory for us.
How did it compare with cup finals at Hampden? So actually, I mean, it's quite unique. Not many people have been winners at Hampden so many times, and also at Wembley.
Yeah, it's different because up here's, listen, it's a different ball game up here.
Sure.
There's no doubt about it. It was just when you leave Rangers, and after being so successful, you never think you're going to win another trophy, because at Birmingham it was about just staying in the Premier League and getting an okay cup run. But to go somewhere different and win a trophy was something that I never thought would happen.
Alec McLeish, the boss, Peter Grant was one of the coaches as well. It's amazing, isn't it?
Grant was the assistant manager, yeah, he'll take all the credit for
nice
the tactics, Granty.
Do you ever look at the medal from that one?
Yeah, it's in a frame. Yep.
Darren, it's quite an achievement, isn't it? It's great.
Yes.
These are the days that, you know, we'll talk cup final next weekend with Rangers Celtic, but cup days, there must be nothing like it. Getting to the final, I mean, the disappointment of losing must be crushing, but to win, nothing like it, I would imagine.
Yeah. Obviously, they are kind of over league campaign. It's a little bit different. Well, it depends how you finish the league campaign, but obviously a cup final it meets just it's euphoric. And obviously up here, if it's against Rangers, it's doubly, because beating Rangers at any time as a Celtic player or vice versa, it adds to it. But cup games are fantastic. Yeah,
it's going to be like a cup atmosphere, isn't it? In some ways, Barry, on Sunday, do you think?
No, that's for the following weekend.
I know, but it'll feel a bit like the cup, given
that'll be
the
totally
titles.
different the following weekend, because Celtic have obviously got 7,500 fans, back to the way it used to be. And listen, everybody's got their opinion on this, but I was speaking to Darren off-air about it, and he's played when it's been what it's going to be like. In a week's time, and I just think that made the game. Certainly, we're having 7,500 Celtic fans in at Ibrox, and vice versa. 7,500, 8,000 fans at Celtic Park. It just added to the fixture for me.
It happened in Steven Gerrard's day, wasn't it? When he said, look, why we're having a tough time and let's just change it. And that is what happened. Steven Gerrard's one of the things that he did. He won the title then in 21, but he wasn't having it.
No, listen, that's down to him. He would have had his reasons for it, but he's not here now. So I think as a spectacle, I think everyone nearly is in agreement that it's better when both sets of supporters are in the stadium.
Danny Rohl was asked today about the atmosphere.
I think so, but important is that we deliver on the pitch as well a good performance. I think that was for a neutral or for our fans against Hearts the key point. We were 1-0 down, we come back 1-1, 2-1 down, we come back 2-2. We showed always that we can come back after small setbacks. We showed resilience, we played good football. I think we showed from the first minute that we want to win this game, and this is crucial. But both teams will be in this fight on Sunday. Both teams want to try, both teams know how important this game is. But I think it will be a special atmosphere in the stadium.
Martin O'Neill was asked about the smaller fan allocation, which there now is, obviously, in league games.
No, I don't think so. No.
Will it affect them?
No, I don't think so. No, they're ready for the games. We have a lot of players here who have played in these fixtures, and have gone to Ibrox and won. So they've done that in the recent past. And it's up to us to try and emulate that.
He was asked about squad selection for tomorrow.
Loads of decisions. I've just climbed off the plane, believe it or not. Loads of things to think about. Would have been. Trusty obviously is a blow. He's been playing very, very well for us, but we'll have to try and cope. I think experience does matter. I think it's important. You wouldn't want to be going with a lot of novices in the side. But if that's the case and that's what happens, then go with it. But it'd be better if you had some experience.
And he was asked about Rangers going in as favourites.
I think if you are playing at home, I think that you would have a very obvious advantage in that sense. So I would imagine that if the Old Firm fixtures still are something special. I think I said to you before that when they finally allow, and I'm sure it will happen in the not too distant future, the full allocation of away fans at both grounds, it will be terrific. And I think we are for the cup game, which is great. So, but they are definitely special, and having lived down south for quite some time, they're still talked about, which is great.
Darren, was that you on the phone to Martin O'Neill? I saw it in the actual press conference. It can happen to even him.
Yeah. Well, it was funny because Roy Keane's his assistant in it, and Roy Keane, if he had been in there, he'd have been raging if the phone went off. The clip of do you remember the clip of the Ipswich when he was Ipswich? Yeah. He absolutely tore someone to shreds, but it can happen to anyone.
Absolutely. Was he your manager?
At Ipswich, yeah. Went down and played for 6 months, and he was really good. He's actually a really intelligent, funny guy. And he is what you see on TV. He does have a switch in him, but there was a lot more to him than that.
Cork man, isn't he? Yeah.
Cork man,
From Cork. You're Dublin, of course.
Dublin, yeah.
Barry, did you come up against him over the years? You must have. I know you played against him.
A few times.
Yeah. What was he like to play against?
Oh, fiery.
A bit like yourself. It must have been.
You don't mind that. Look, he was. Listen, there's no getting away. He was some player. Let's be honest. Then he changed his game for a young age. Remember him at Nottingham Forest. Then when he first came to Manchester United, he was more like a runner for midfield. And then as you got older, he kind of felt himself going back the way in terms of more a holding midfielder. But listen, he was a top player. There's no getting away from that.
Hearing from both managers just now, trying to get an insight on maybe what the teams will be. Dane Murray was asked the significance of recent results for Rangers against Celtic in the league.
For me, that was one of the biggest moment so far, because we beat a big team and we come back after 1-0 down. It helps. That gives the team the belief. I think as a manager, when you make decisions and you can make a decision at halftime and it works like this, it helps as well for the trust for the players. There is no question mark. The players follow our way. They are confident. They are believe. And I think this is crucial. We have to believe. I think this game, it's not about the legs, it's about the mind, the brain, how ready you are in these moments. And if you do this, then let's see.
Barry? In the mind?
Well, I remember the last game, and if I'm being brutally honest, I'm thinking when the half-time whistle went, I'm happy we got in 1-0 down, because Celtic were so dominant and they missed a few chances. Rangers were just nowhere near it. But that's where the manager earns his money. That 10 minutes at half-time, he makes the change, and it certainly made a difference. And Rangers were like a different team in the second half. And that's just the way that these games go at times, when you're really not playing well and then your back's to the wall, because it was just waves of attack from Celtic. It was just get in here at half-time, 1-0, take that all day long and readjust. And that's it. That's certainly what the manager done. He made the change by bringing Dale Mandy on at half-time, adjusted a few things in the middle of the pitch, and then they got a foothold in the game. And then obviously they got the goal, and then you could just see the confidence building and building.
sliding doors moment, isn't it? When you think about it, the Yang goal, he did so well, but Celtic could have been 3 up at half time. It might have been a different story for Wilfred Nancy.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
No. I think that wasn't a one-off.
Yeah.
I think Wilfred Nancy, if you actually look over his spell of 8 games, the first half of games was invariably Celtic could have been 2-3 up. But the second half of every game, they got beat.
What was the game I watched? Was it Dundee United at Tannadice?
Maybe.
Yep.
They were on fire.
Yeah.
And then it was
That's
like
right.
a total different team.
Collapse.
Barry, that
Yep.
was it. It was literally every game.
What was he saying at half time that changed it?
I don't think he was saying
no.
that. And I just think other opposition managers were
Adjusted and coped. Right.
St Mirren in the cup final, Stephen Robinson split his strikers. And if you look at the goal, I can't remember which the second goal, but the reason he done it is because he knew they were going 1-for-1 at the back. So Austin Trusty standing over on the far side of the pitch, man marking someone, and St Mirren have the full length of the pitch to run in 1v1 on the goal. So it was just managers adjusting, and he wanted to stick to his own belief.
Darren, that was the day that Chermiti was introduced, really, wasn't it? I mean, you'd seen him before, but he was under so much pressure. He'd been criticised so badly. He got 2 goals.
Yeah, in the last game, yeah.
Yep.
I obviously, Barry will have seen a hell of a lot more than me to analyse him, but he might just be one of these players that he doesn't seem to have lit the place up or anywhere near it, but he's starting to arrive in the big games, and we've seen, thinking off the top of my head, Georgios Samaras was one in my head where I'd play with Sammy. I love him to bits, by the way. Brilliant friend of mine. But sometimes he just looks disinterested. But then the big games arrived, whether they were Europe or Rangers, and he would always show up with big moments.
Yeah.
He could, I don't know, he could be one of those type of players because he's not really set the header on fire.
See if you wanted to mark 3 or 4 things down in a bit of paper that you would want for a number 9, the attributes, he's got them.
Yeah.
He's big, he's strong, he's powerful, he can run. And sometimes he just frustrates you because obviously the double against Celtic, the hat-trick against Hearts, it's there. You just need to see it on a more consistent basis. But what I will say is the Hearts game, when he had a partner up top, it did make a difference. He came alive. And then obviously back to the Livingston game at the weekend. I know Nadiri wasn't fully fit to start. He looked again a bit isolated. I just think he needs a partner or somebody to be close by him and get up and support him.
0808 17 17 700. The countdown's on to the weekend. We're going to talk about all the games and we'll have the score predictor in about 5 minutes' time. Jerry's been on asking you both. It was mentioned last night with Mark and also Charlie McGrew and Mark Guidi. Would Celtic change it? If Rangers have 2 up front, would they go 5 at the back? Now, it didn't work under, and that was mentioned last night, but could you see a world where he decides to sit in Sunday morning, Sunday lunchtime, and play 5?
Just you were about to touch on it. Martin O'Neill playing 3 at the back is absolutely nothing like Wilfred Nancy playing 3 at the back. So just to put that out there. Could he do it? Yes. Will he do it? I think no. For a multitude of reasons. One is they don't actually have enough centre-backs, proper centre-backs. So you would be putting people out of position, similar to maybe what Wilfred Nancy had to do. You don't have 3, unless you went with Dane Murray, Arthur Benjamin and Scales. I don't see him going with a 3, no. But, I mean, could he do it? Yeah, of course he
Kieran
could.
Tierney, maybe?
I know he's done it for Scotland, and then that gets Sriracha into the team. Yeah, listen, there's a case to be made. I don't think he'll do it, though.
Barry, could you see him do that? Maybe move in?
Well, I played against these teams in the early 2000s, but his back 3, what Dan's just mentioned there, they were absolute giants.
Yeah, big
Baldy.
guys.
And they defended.
Yep.
They didn't take any chances. Could it happen? Possibly. You just need to wait to see on Sunday. But I don't think they've got the players that the way that Martin O'Neill would want to play a back 3.
Let's hear a bit more from Martin O'Neill, speaking after last night and then today, looking forward, trying to get some clues of his lineup.
No, I think that in normal circumstances you'd like a free week to prepare, but we've gone to Ibrox before in my time, where we've played midweek games and we're ready for the matches. So it is what it is.
I know, Barry, you think sometimes too much is made of playing midweek and travel. I mean, Stuttgart's not that far away. You often say...
I know he had a comment about when the game get cancelled against Aberdeen, but I don't think Martin O'Neill would use that as an excuse. They're well looked after. They're very professional now. And that's what you're paid to do, Paul. Elite professionals, sometimes you have to play three games a week. You just have to manage it and make sure your recovery's spot on.
Yeah, I think. Well, I'm going to say, the Celtic are playing 3 games a week all the time, so it's not something new. Maybe Martin O'Neill flagging it up is flagging up, but no, there's absolutely, Barry's right. There would be no excuses around that. I mean, if Celtic Rangers have done it a million times over, playing 3 games a week, so it won't be an issue at all.
A bit more from Martin O'Neill about the previous game with Rangers.
I mean, the two sides play each other reasonably often during the course of the season, so I think I think the next fixture, one of the teams is usually trying to rectify something that's happened before. So now it's our turn. If that's the case, it'll be a difficult game for us. Absolutely no question about that. But are we capable of winning? Yes, we are.
08, 17, 17, 700. We're going to get the predictions of Darren, Barry, and you after this.
Go Radio Score Predictor with Shawfield Timber. With decades of experience, they are Glasgow's specialist timber merchant.
Yep, think you can predict this weekend's SPFL Premier results? We're giving you the chance to take on our score predictor with Shawfield Timber, predicting this weekend's Premiership scores, either a win, a loss or a draw. Get them all right and you're going to walk away with £1,000. That's all you have to do. 6 games, either a win, a loss or a draw. Stephen is on, a Morton fan. Hi Stephen, good evening.
Hello.
Stephen, where are you?
At home with my sister and my dog.
Right, okay. In Glasgow, Greenock, Paisley?
Greenock.
In Greenock, right. Tail of the bank. Must have been lovely there today. It's a bit brighter today, wasn't it?
It was a bit warmer.
A bit warmer. I know it was only -5. No, it's actually been really mild this week. Stephen in Greenock. So I'll tell you who's on. Barry Ferguson is here, who won the League Cup in England 15 years ago today. And Darren O'Dea, former Celtic legend. He's no longer a legend. He's a former Celtic star who 15 years ago, where would you have been playing? Darren, that's your question.
What year
the predictor, would that have been 2011? 2011?
I would have been on loan to Ipswich.
Ipswich Town, the tractor men.
It's a nightmare when somebody says
I know.
I can't think either.
Yeah. Stephen, Morton, it can be a tough ride as a Morton fan, isn't it? It's not roses all the way.
It's very difficult.
Yeah, but a great
It
club.
can be very difficult, especially with the whole situation with what happened with the previous manager.
Yeah, sure. I know
his family.
Yeah, that was really tough. It was so sad. You're right.
That was a tough time for the club. Of
course. And the club rallied around him and we wish him all the best.
Yeah.
But,
Ian Murray's the manager now.
Yeah, it's now. That's right. I know. Yeah, it's almost a swap of the jobs. Not quite, but you're right. Right, Stephen, this is £1,000 from Shawfield Timber, so we'd love you to win it. What would you do with it if you get £1,000?
I'd use something to be able to go on holiday with my sister and the dog.
Okay. Right, that would be absolutely brilliant. A holiday, £1,000. Okay, so we're going to ask you, but also ask Darren and Barry what they think. So we'll kick off. We're kicking off with, let's kick off with Motherwell against Dundee United. Darren and Dee, you're going to be there tomorrow at Fir Park. Who do you fancy in this one?
Are we just going win, lose, or draw?
Yeah, but you can chat a wee bit about it as well. So, but
I think Motherwell will control the game. Dundee United will try to stifle the game. So I fancy Motherwell to win. I don't think Motherwell will concede because they usually don't. So I'll go with 2-0 Motherwell win.
2-0 to the Well. Barry, what do you feel?
Yeah, I honestly can't see past Motherwell. I just think they're flying with confidence. They're sitting in 4th position, but they'll be in the back of their minds thinking, can we break into that top 3? And I agree with Dan says. I think Dundee United will come and try and make it difficult, but I think they've got too much quality, Motherwell. and I think they'll win pretty convincingly.
And 5 goals, sorry, at Paisley last week.
Yeah,
isn't
listen,
it?
I know
Yep.
St Mirren get the man sent off, but that was at 3. But no many teams go to Paisley and win by 5 goals. So I think Motherwell pretty convincingly tomorrow.
So Motherwell would then go on to 53 points. And going into Sunday's game, Celtic on 54, Rangers on 56.
Like Celtic, they've still got a game in hand.
They have, that's right. Yep. Yeah, they've got 11 games to go. Stephen, what do you feel? Who's going to win?
I think Motherwell will win it. They've been the kind of form team recently in the league as well.
Absolutely. I mean, it's an amazing record, isn't it? 18 goals is all they've lost all season in the league. It's they'll be still a bit annoyed that they went out of the cup to Aberdeen just the other week. Maswanisi, 19 goals so far, just scored last weekend. They've got so many goals coming from different places. So Motherwell against Dundee United. Right, that sounds as though it's right. Of course, we don't know. Livy against St Mirren. Barry, who do you fancy in this one? Livy ran you close.
Well,
Rangers?
I was at the game on Sunday against Livingston, and I've got to be honest with you, I was impressed by them. Impressed the way that Marvin Bartley set up. Well, he set up the same way against St Mirren, who knows, but I thought they were really good. St Mirren, never seen this coming. Third bottom in the league after winning the League Cup. I'm going to surprise a few. I'm going to go Livingston to win this.
You're going for Livy?
Yes.
Wow, second win.
Yeah, I'm just
of
going
the
on
season.
last week, seeing them live, and they've got some dangerous players, Livingston.
Diane and Davy Forsyth are listening just now in Straven, and it nearly ruined his coupon last weekend with that. When, Livy were 2 up, Darren, nobody thought that would happen. So can they do it again, get at least a point against St Mirren, or is it going to be Saints who start now to move away from the bottom or near the bottom?
Yeah, but totally agree with Barry. You just didn't see this coming with St Mirren. I think St Mirren will try go there and be very, very as solid as possible, because they've conceded far too many goals for Stephen Robinson's liking. So I can actually picture, even though I agree after watching Livingston and getting Rangers, they do have dangerous players. I could actually picture it been quite a dull game. So I could see it being a draw and potentially even no goals in the game.
Cancelling each other out. A bit like Dundee United Aberdeen the other night, which was awful. Okay, what do you think then, Stephen? Remember £1,000 there.
I think St Mirren might sneak it.
Right, okay.
Well, that's coming from a Morton fan as
I
well.
know, that's right. Yeah.
Morton fan, but I do think St Mirren's a slightly better team than Livingston.
Yeah. And it's got to turn for them
especially
at
on
some
the
point.
depth for squad as well. They've got a few kind of better players than what Livingston's got. Most of the players Livingston have played for them in the Championship, which it's sometimes hard to make the step up.
It is. But you're going for St Mirren, right? So you're going for Motherwell to beat Dundee United, St Mirren to beat Livy. Stephen, what about you? Hearts against Aberdeen.
Oof. Got the Hearts.
Going for Hearts. So Alex Ferguson will be in the stand.
Yeah, seen that.
But not at the Aberdeen end. Well, he's there as a guest of Derek McInnes. Barry, what do you feel?
Yeah, I can't see past Hearts being at home. Be a full house. Aberdeen at this moment in time are struggling a bit. So for me, Hearts to win the game.
Yeah, Aberdeen start on 28 points, as you know, Darren. Hertz on 60. What's going to happen?
Yeah, no, I'm not going to change from either of the guys there. So Hearts to win.
See, if Hearts did slip up, if you're Rangers or Celtic, you go, wait a minute, doors to manual. Would that have an effect? No. Maybe?
Listen, you've got to go in. Listen, if that was the case, you would be happy, but you have to focus on yourself. But I don't see. I just think Hearts are in a good place.
Sure.
I know they're missing some important players, Paul, but they're there for a reason.
So you're going for Motherwell to win, St Mirren to win, Hearts to win. What about Falkirk against Kilmarnock? Barry, do you want that one first? Who's it going to be, John McGlynn or Neil McCann? Billy Dodds?
Yeah, Falkirk had a great season. Kilmarnock have certainly picked up since Neil and Dodgy have come in. I'm going to go a draw in this one.
Okay, so Kelly would go on to 22 points, still behind St Mirren, just by 1, depending what happens there. And Falkirk, of course, 39 points, but they lost last week. What do you think, Darren?
Yeah, wrote down the same.
Yep.
I think there'll be goals though. Falkirk invariably create chances. I think Kilmarnock have definitely had an upturn since Neil McCann's gone in.
Okay.
So I could picture like a 2-2 draw.
You're going for a draw. Okay, what do you reckon, Stephen?
I think Kilmarnock might nick it.
Yeah, you're going for Kelly. Good.
This might be the time to actually turn it round and pull away from the bottom end of the table.
Okay.
Try and move into that sort of mid-table area.
Don't know if Stephen McGinn's listening at the moment, who joined us often until he went full-time to Falkirk. Obviously, you're going to be full-time if you're one of the assistants. Right, you're going for Kelly. Dundee against Hibs. Darren, your old club there, who do you think is going to win?
Well, after Hibs beating Celtic at Celtic Park, they're going to be in really, really good spirits, albeit Dundee have had some brilliant results recently as well. But I've got to side with Hibs. I think that Hibs will win the game, but it'll be tight. I think
you go for Hibs. Barry, what do you feel?
This is two teams that had brilliant results last weekend.
Yeah.
I think this will be a cracker. I can see this ending up in a high scoring draw,
5-5.
something like. Listen, Dundee clearly are full of confidence after that win at Aberdeen. Hibs brilliant result against Celtic. Yeah, I'm going to go 2 each.
2 each. Thomas wouldn't like that. He'd be looking for the win. But you can never tell with Hibs, can you? And also Dundee up and down. It's been
I thought Dundee would have struggled this year.
Yeah.
I really did. But fair play to Stephen Presley.
Got to admire him, haven't you?
Yep, he has. What did he say last?
I know, he just said
a
it's
jobby
he
team.
did. That's what he said. And he's uses it in the media. What do you think yourself, Stephen? What do you reckon?
I think Hibs 2-1 maybe.
Right, you're going for Hibs. Okay, so you're going for Hibs to win at Dundee. You're going Kilmarnock to win at Falkirk. Hearts to beat Aberdeen. St Mirren against Livy. And Motherwell to beat Dundee United. So, Rangers Celtic. I'm going to come to you first then, Stephen. Because see, by then, I think those 5, he's got them right. So, Sunday, you'll be watching the game, I take it?
No, I don't tend to watch fun games.
Okay. Who do you think's going to win?
I'm not one for watching either side the Old Firm, really.
Okay.
Even in Europe, I don't watch them.
All right. So what do you think's going to happen then? Because, I mean, £1,000 could be riding on it. So what do you really think? Win, lose or draw?
I think Rangers are the slightly better team at the moment. So I'm going to favour them to win it.
Right, to win it. I'm only laughing because Big Davey's on saying he thinks it's going to be 8-0 Rangers. He's just going a bit nuts, I think, just now.
How many pints has he had?
Exactly, it's a bit early. I'll see him later, but he's got the champagne and ice already. So Stephen thinks it's going to be Rangers. Darren, what do you feel?
Well, I'm going to answer with my heart rather than my head. My head would say a draw, but I'll go with a Celtic win. But thankfully, I don't have £1,000 on the line because I'd probably go for a draw if it was. But I'll go for a Celtic win.
Barry, are you agreeing with Darren? Davey, sorry.
Rangers at home. I think as I mentioned previous, the atmosphere's been was great. Sorry, against Hearts the last home game. So I'm going to go Rangers. I think it's going to be tight, but I don't think it's going to be as easy as some people may make out. It's going to be very tight. I think there'll only be a goal in it.
Do you think some Rangers fans are really, really confident? Well, we heard Davey there. He is saying that tongue-in-cheek, but it's a while since Rangers fans have felt so confident going into the Celtic game.
I'm never overconfident going into these games.
Because you remember the 5-1, 6-2, the other way around you. But 5-1 was yours, wasn't it? But the other way around, you went in and Celtic won.
That was only the space of a month.
That's right.
Or 5 weeks. Celtic absolute battered us 6-2. And then 4 or 5 weeks later, we done the same to Celtic, 5-1. It's crazy. It's just whoever turns up at the end of the day, whoever wants it. I'm a big believer in that. You can go on about tactics and the way you set up. And also you need a bit of luck in these games.
Sure. Of course.
Because you don't know what could happen after a minute or two. Somebody could get sent off, down to 10 men.
That's right. Oh my, we haven't even mentioned VAR yet and the referee.
I don't even want
that.
to mention it. I hope it has nothing to do with the game and the referee's strong and is allowed to referee it.
John Beaton's under a lot of pressure, and also the VAR as
You've
well.
got to understand as well, it's a passionate game as well. Two sets of players will be fired up for it, and sometimes there might be as long as it's not a silly tackle, but you've got to be understandable that sometimes it happens in these games because passions are running high.
Yeah, you don't want to see people getting sent off.
No.
And VAR, I mean, there's big questions about VAR, the way they're now re-refereeing it. And Rangers and Celtic did agree that last weekend. Rangers wanted, the Mikey Moore look at it again, and they didn't. And in Celtic's case, I mean, Trusty to get 3-game ban from the league seems excessive.
Yeah, well, the 3-game ban, it was 2-game, but he got the 3rd game because he'd already been sent off.
Right, yep.
So for the offence, it's a 2 for, I think,
Okay.
would it go under violent conduct?
Yeah.
So I think that's just the ruling.
I mean, give us a break.
It does sound, for the incident and getting 3 games, but there's, because of that, that's the reason for it. I just hope we're talking about the game of football afterwards. I wouldn't put my money on it though, because invariably in these games, every decision gets contested. Everything's put under the microscope. But yeah, I agree with Barry. John Beaton's going to have to be really, really strong. I'd like to see him just referee the game rather than it getting flipped always to VAR. I
was going to ask you both, do you trust the referees? And my point is, let them referee.
Just let them, exactly. Let them referee the game. And that's what I hope the case is in Sunday, Paul, because we know passions run high in these games. We know, as I mentioned, both sets of players will be really fired up. But going on the Rangers decision last week with Mikey Moore, what baffles me, the referee doesn't think that's a foul. And then with the Trusty, I'll be honest with you, I think it's a case of the referee just saying, you're used to, calm down. At most, a yellow card.
And that's what he was going to do. But he's told to go and watch. Delay. And another delay came in. Stephen, final prediction, but it's not in the predictor, don't worry. Airdrie against Morton tomorrow. You're going to do it?
Yeah, I think we'll beat them.
And who do you think's going to win the title? Is it going to be Partick Thistle or St Johnstone? What do you feel?
I think it'll be St Johnstone that'll get it.
Stephen, thanks a million. I hope we're speaking to you on Monday. If you get all 6 right with Shawfield Timber, we'll talk to you on Monday night about 5:30. Okay?
Okay.
Thanks so much, Stephen. 0808 17 17 700. Back in a moment.
The Go Radio Football Show with Burger King.
All right, we're into the final straight ahead of the game this weekend. Headlines today: Celtic win for the first time in Germany. It's remarkable, Darren O'Dea, isn't it? It's the first time they've won there. Yeah. But 1-0 last night. And Luke McCown, this is what he said about his early goal.
No, we just knew we had to start the game quick, and it obviously was. And I just wish we could have pushed on in the first half, especially to get the second one, because I felt we were actually kind of comfortable in parts of the game and had a real threat. So just that kind of final edge is what we're missing.
Dyson Maeda had a chance just after that, but they weathered a few storms as well, Darren, but came away with the win.
Yeah, go away from home in Europe to Stuttgart, who I think they're 4th in the Bundesliga, and win is a huge achievement, but it's a very, very difficult result to gain. I think the expectation, there's no chance Celtic were going to go there and essentially win 3-0 to bring it back to a tie. So yeah, they can take a lot of credit and kind of confidence from it, but I think to think you were going to go over there and win 3-0, I don't think even Martin O'Neill thought that was going to be possible.
I don't think he did.
No.
Looking at the ratings today in the record, Barry, Trusty and Murray both get 8 points each, according to whoever was there for the record. And of course, Trusty, no sign of him for Sunday. He's out for 3 games. Dane Murray, do you think he's going to play him on Sunday?
Yeah, listen, he's put into a tough environment last night, let's be honest. Dan's just mentioned they're 4th in the Bundesliga, so they're a very good team. So that was a test for him last night. I thought he came through it pretty well. So I would be surprised if he doesn't start the game in Sunday for Celtic.
You know Dane Murray well. You've worked with him. What do you make of him with the qualities that he'll bring?
he actually has everything you need. You think he's about 6'4". He's top class in the air. He's quick. He's comfortable on the ball. He's obviously had a couple of mistakes, but that's part of his learning. It's part of his development, and I hope that he's done now enough. I was really, really kind of proud of him last night because I thought he was excellent. To go and get a clean sheet or be part of the team to get a clean sheet, and now he could be going into what is, for a young player, and I know what it's like as well in these games. I think my 6th ever game was in the last 16 the Champions League. They can be career changing, and I think to go away from home to Ibrox, if he's part of a winning team, it could be a kickstart to his actual career at Celtic.
Game changer for his career. Do you think he will be preferred to Benji Arthur?
I just don't see how you could put Benjamin Arthur in because you haven't seen him. He came on, did he, for, was it 15 minutes or so? And I think if Dane had a wobbled last night, it would have been Benjamin Arthur. So I think it was kind of Dane's jersey to lose. So I would imagine Dane Murray will start. Luke
McCowan was the man of the moment last night. He spoke afterwards about, well, the team in general.
I think that's regardless if you're not playing all the time or if you are. You've got to have the hunger to go and help your team when things are going against us. Probably why Celtic as a team have been so amazing over the last few years is just the consistency level's been abnormally high, and now you're expecting that. So when we go into this season, we expect that ourselves and we expect it from ourselves, and we've just not done that so far. But listen, we're still in the fight and we just need to keep going, and with performances like that, it doesn't hinder us.
A Scot, Barry, and that's always good. I remember a few seasons ago you would always speak about him and Oxlade-Chamberlain when they were at Dundee.
Yeah, and I'd put Josh Mulligan into that category as well. Yep, they always stood out for me. Not surprised that they moved on to, not been disrespectful to Dundee, but bigger and better things. And as I said, yep, I like seeing, I think it was at Ayr United and then Dundee signed him from Ayr United. So it's always good to see people come for the lower leagues and progress to the bigger teams. There's no doubt about that.
Do you think he will play? Do you think he'll start on Sunday? And could he cope?
Well, he's not done himself any harms last night. I know Martin O'Neill made 8 changes, but it was a case of you need to give the manager food for thought. When you get that opportunity, you need to go and grab it with both hands. And I think some Celtic players done that with the result in the performance.
70 minutes, he played 69, 70 minutes. So what do you think? He obviously looked tired because he'd put in such a shift. What's your feeling about him starting?
I don't think he'll start.
No, I know he's not in your team there.
No, yep. But as Barry said, he probably couldn't have done any more last night. He's obviously got the goal. He's performed really well. And he's to be fair, he's done that over Celtic careers. At times he's not started loads of games, but he always makes an impact, and he's obviously a very good professional. He'll be good around the place. But I don't think he will be part of the starting 11, but I'm sure he'll play a part at some point.
Martin O'Neill was asked today about the twists and the turns. I think he was asked, is it all going to be about Sunday, or... Let's hear what he said.
No, there'll be twists and turns. We have to go to Ibrox, which we know is going to be a very difficult game for us. Then we have to travel up to Aberdeen. Then we have to go to Ibrox again. But we've created this situation for ourselves by progressing in European football. And at the end of it all, that's what you want to do. I know I've said this umpteen times, worth repeating for the second last time, that European football is what the big clubs in Scotland should be aiming for. Not to have a coefficient drop out of sight. It's ridiculous in a year and a half's time or something like this here. This is what it's all about. You've got to try and play, got to try and contest in European football. Somebody tells me here, I think that's the first victory in Germany. There you are. So it's worthwhile.
Context, Barry, it's true, isn't it? We've got so far away as a nation to success in Europe this season that everyone's out already.
Mm-hmm. But I think he sums it up pretty well there and what he said. It's part of it, playing 3 games a week. If you want to be a successful team, or you want to challenge in all fronts, and I'm including Europe there, well, that's the way it has to happen, that you have to play you have some real difficult weeks and fixtures, but that's part of it. That's part of being at a big club, and that's part of if you want to be a successful team.
Let's hear Danny Rohl, his view and thoughts on the game at Ibrox.
Yeah, we are ready. I think during the week we spoke a lot about this game in the coaching group as well. I think when you are a manager and you have the chance to play at home this kind of games, then you are also on fire. And yeah, we are on fire. I think it was a good training week so far. Let's see tomorrow, one more training session. I feel the confidence, I feel the belief, and I think this is very important. It's not just we can speak about the shape and the tactic, but it's also about the how we go in duels, how we win the balls, how we play forward. If we have the right mindset for this game, then I totally believe we come with a lot of confidence, and we have 51,000 in our back, and it will be a good atmosphere.
Barry, what are you thinking about that rally cry from the manager?
Yeah, well, I firmly believe that they need to come out the traps and really need to put Celtic under pressure and nerve them a wee bit. That's what I think they need to do, and that's what I would expect them to do tomorrow, and see how Celtic stand up to that. Because you're at home, you've got the vast majority of fans, 48, 49,000 behind you, and that's what they'll be expecting going to the game, Paul.
Last night, Celtic surprised Stuttgart, who were the favourites, scoring so early. Darren, how do you think Celtic are going to approach it? Are they going to come out and try and go at Rangers right away? Are they going to? What do you think?
I think you need to. They'll have I think Celtic will have the intent of doing that, but you need to be prepared for every possibility. And I agree. Rangers are clearly going to try to come out in the front foot and put Celtic under massive pressure. Set plays will be, I think, could be huge in the game. So Celtic need to be. It was away at Hearts at Tynecastle, gave away far too many free kicks. It's kind of silly fouls around the box. I don't think they can afford to do that against Rangers because they're very strong from set plays as well. But it's going to be. I think neither team is going to give each other an inch. I think it mightn't be the greatest game on the eye in terms of flow, but it will be in terms of drama and certainly energy and grit. There'll be loads of it. So it'll be an interesting game for sure.
Barry, very different game from the game at, what was it, 1st September, which was one of the worst Old Firm games, as you'll remember. What are you thinking about Oxlade-Chamberlain? Is he in your thoughts? How do you think Rangers will feel about?
Well, I said that when Celtic signed him, there's no doubting that he's got masses of quality. He's played at the highest level. If Celtic can get him up and running and fit, well, they have a quality operator. There's no doubt about that.
And for Rangers, the real quality coming from who you're looking to really, that we talk about on Monday night.
I always tend to look at the kind of midfield area, and that's why I've went with the three Rangers midfielders in there. Like Dio and Nico have been involved in that fixture many a times. Chukwani brings a real presence in there. And then you've got the flare of Mikey Moore floating about with the two big boys up top. So, yeah, I'm always a big believer in the kind of the midfield battle. And then if that's the midfield that Celtic are going to go with what Darren's written down, there's a bit of quality in there as well. So it'll be a good challenge for both.
There's good quality in Celtic's midfield. We're off the assumption it would be Callum McGregor, Negron and Oxlade-Chamberlain, but there's not a lot of dig in it. There's not a lot of kind of bite in it, and I think certainly in Rangers midfield there is a bit of devilment in it. So it could go both ways. Oxlade-Chamberlain, I think this is when Barry spoke about it earlier in the show, talking about something else in terms of players coming up here, top players coming up here and not quite doing it. These are the games he's got brought to. He has to arrive. He has to kind of come to the party and not just kind of be a player on the pitch. He needs to be a big player on the pitch. So I'm expecting a big performance from him.
Barry, what do you think is going to happen on Sunday? Last 2 minutes of the programme.
I think, from a Rangers point of view, I think they need to really go at Celtic, but also believe that Martin will come with something up his sleeve to try and surprise Rangers. I think it'll be a real ding-dong. I really do. I don't think it'll be easy as some people make out in terms of Rangers. I'll win it pretty convincingly, but I'm looking forward to it. These are the games that you should look forward to as a player. You're a long time retired, and people ask you about do you miss playing? Do I know my time has been and gone, but these are the occasions you miss. Games like this, these are brilliant to be involved in. And as I said, it's going to be interesting to see what way Rangers go. I've gave you my opinion on what team, but it could be different.
Yeah.
Darren's gave you Celtic's team. That could be different. Martin O'Neill might come with a back three. Who knows? That's the beauty of football. We just need to wait and see. And whoever comes out on top at 1:45, 2 o'clock.
2 quick bites from the managers before we get Darren's prediction.
In my time, absolutely right. They definitely can. There's no need for him to be commenting on my team or our side. I think he possesses a very, very decent team over there, and it's going to be tough for us to try and get a result. But regardless, we're still fighting.
Yeah, I think at the moment we're in the second position. They're behind us. I think they have at the moment 7 or 8 defeats. Yeah, I think general it makes no sense to speak too much about the other side. We have to focus on ourselves. We want to win this game. I see my team is ready to take points, and then we will see on Sunday. Hopefully both teams try everything, and I'm confident that we have a big chance to win this game.
What do you think the scoreline's going to be, Darren?
Oh God!
Yeah, just a snapshot. We'll get 10 seconds left.
I'll go. I think there'll be goals. I think it'll be either a 2-2 draw, but I'll just kid on and go with my heart and say 3-2 Celtic.
Okay, Barry, scoreline?
2-1 Rangers.
Thank you so much, both of you. See you again next week. Have a great weekend, everyone. Take care. Enjoy it. Thanks to everyone who was on the show and all week. And young Gary, it was his birthday. 25 years young. Congratulations to Gary. Yeah, well done.
I thought he was 35.
Yeah. Thank you, James. Thanks, everyone. We're back on Monday at 5. Don't miss it.